If you've watched this show before, you know these are colors I'm not Miss Pink person. Okay, here comes a good one. Something unexpected in the shadows. I like to put unexpected things everywhere. I don't know, you ever remember being a kid and playing with the shadows on the wall and doing little birds? Hi, welcome to Give Your Wall Some Soul. I'm Shannon Grissom. Well, there was an episode that we did earlier on where we painted a black and white or a value study of a self-portrait. And so I thought, God, wouldn't it be great to take it to the next level, add color to it, and see what we could do. Now, interesting things happen when you paint a self-portrait. It's a really good way to check in with yourself. And today I think is fun. We're going to try some inventive colors and just see what we can do with this, not take it so seriously. I think the tendency for me anyway is that when I do something like this, I try to get it just right and I really nitpick it. But you know what? I am all about having fun today. So let's get started. What did we do? Well, we used basically a taupe and a cream color and some purple, and based in just the basic shapes that sort of kind of look like me. Now, the interesting thing about a painting, and when you're trying to figure out, when you're adjusting things and you're trying to figure out what's wrong with this picture, well, what I did was, I'm like, okay, I kind of look a little bit kind of ticked off there. So I thought, well, what's wrong with that? Is it my mouth or is it my eyes? So I looked at the eyes by themselves. Now that didn't look so bad. And then I covered up the mouth. That wasn't so bad. And then a friend of mine pointed out that if you just cover up one side, you can, there it is. It's this eye. So now I know what we would need to work on to put the glint back and make it happy. But aside from being picky about the shapes, I really just want to get the color in. And so I'm going to start with that. And I think I'm really going to experiment and put some red in the background and just really liven this up. So I'm going to take some, maybe a little bit of quinacridone violet and perylene scarlet, mix that together, and put that right over the purple. That ought to work. Got to wipe my knife. Use a little bit of medium. All right, let's go right over the purple and put this in the background. It might be a little over the top, but I'm not going to worry about it till the end. And you know what? It wouldn't be a self-portrait if I didn't go a little bit over the top. There we go. A little bit of red right over the top of this violet. This will tie in with the red lipstick I intend to wear later in this painting. See, in real life, I wear really bright red lipstick. But you know what? It doesn't look so good on camera, so I don't do that. All right, that's nice. That's a darker background. That'll help tie that in. All right, let's try and add some color to this face. Do we want to start with the face first or the hair? I'm hearing face. Okay, that's where we're going. Well, I'm going to mix the lightest light, and that would be a little bit of white. and cad yellow deep. Just a little bit. I mean, I just have a little bit on my knife. That's hardly noticeable. And then I want to mix one more shade. Maybe I'll add just a little more. This is a different brand than I normally use. I'm not going to mention the brand, but because it's a different brand, it's reacting a little bit differently. So I'm adding more paint than I would normally use. Okay, so I have a light mixed, and I'm going to put the lights down just to see what happens first. All right, where do I see the light? Top of my forehead. And you know what? That's just not warm enough. I'm just going straight into that cad yellow deep. Okay, I got a little bit of shine on the forehead. And as good as my photographer is, that's still there. Actually, Richard is wonderful. All right, so I see a little bit of light under the nose. I'm just going to put a little here. And you really can't see what I'm doing, so I may save the light for a little bit later. Yeah, I think I'll go over to the dark side of my face. All right. Sometimes when you start on a piece, you start off with a bang, and other times it's kind of like a car that needs to warm up a little. It's kind of a chugga, 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 chugga. And that's how this painting session is, but it'll all work out in the end. I'm going to add a little bit of green to this red. It's opposite on the color wheel. That'll tone it down just a little bit. What kind of green did I use? I used a warm sap green. There we go. I like that. That's happy. All right, what brush am I going to use? Here we go. I'm going right over. Yeah, that's nice. Right over this area here. These are real weird abstract shapes. So don't think nose, lips, eyes, that kind of thing. Think planes of the face. It's dark right under there. This is a little bit lighter. I'm going to paint in that wrinkle or dimple or whatever you want to call it, because that's just me. It's already there. If I left it out, it wouldn't look like me now. I don't think I like that dark look under there, so I'm going to add a little bit of, oof, that might have been too much. Let's just get wild with the color. Why not? See, there's a couple ways to approach it. If you put something down and it's just a little bit too much, you can blend it out and pretend it didn't happen, or you could totally roll with it. And today I am just in the mood. So let's do a painting here where I really play with the color. All right, so there's some red over there. There's some red here. Ooh, that is fine. Okay, how about over here? Tone it down just a little bit on this side. And I do have a ruddy complexion, so it's really not that far off. Got to get rid of my heavy eyebrows. That was a little overdone. And then I'll try a little cad. Oops, got to wipe my knife here. Cad yellow deep. There we go. That's good. I think if I mix that together, that'll work. Right under the eyes. It's a little pink. So I'm going to take a clean brush. It would have worked if I had cleaned my brush, but no, I didn't. I just got excited and started painting. Oh, that's better. I still want a little more warmth there. Not bright enough. It's fun to play with this color. Let's really push it, as long as we're at it. Right over the top of what's there. Where else am I seeing some value changes? A little bit right here. That's fun. And I'm just scrubbing it in this stage. I'm still not being real careful. That's no fun anyway for me. Gonna blend the neck a little bit. I had one instructor tell me that if you paint a neck too dark, it tends to make you age, and I'm not ready for that, so I'm gonna lighten up my neck. Just a little. Now I think I'll get that brush that was a little too pink. Blending this together. I gotta get rid of that little dark line under my chin. And I'm gonna keep moving. All right, so where else do I see some dark? Right under the nostril. It's a little darker spot right here. And this side of the nose is dark. I'm just gonna go right over the top of this. And soften these eyebrows a little bit. I do have a few lines there. God, time flies when you're having fun. Okay. All right, I'm going to define this little, am I all over the place tonight? Well, what else is new? You know, I've talked about this before. There's the methodical left to right and back to front way of painting. And that really makes a lot of sense. But, but it's not how I paint. So you got to work with what feels good to you. And you know, I do have, there is logic back there somewhere. But when I start painting, it all goes away. I mean, I start out in this left brain mode where I'm thinking left to right, back to front. There are all these rules that you need to follow. But bottom line is you get into the experience, you start enjoying it, you have fun, you get lost. And then when you step back away from the canvas, you can start using your brain again and tidy things up. Now, if you can keep it in logic mode all the way through, you go for it. I can't, so I'm just being honest with you. It doesn't work for me. I have not been able to do that. Okay, I'm looking for a blob. There's a nice blob there. Oh yeah, I was going for the eyebrow when I got distracted and told you that little story. Okay. What do I need to do? All right, so if I lighten this up a little, then I won't look so mean. Because, gosh, I'm not looking happy. Giving myself a dirty look. All right, so it's pretty much light all the way up to this eyebrow. And this is not such a big shape there. And what is that? That's dark over there. So that's what I'm asking myself. Is it dark or light? What value is it? Warm or cool? This is just not that thick. And what's going on over this side? Same thing, a little over the top here. Imagine that. All right. Add a little more red here. Corner of the eyes. See, I'm not being picky. I'm not using small brushes yet. And you know, that's the other weird thing. Because I did this as a value, my eyes are brown in this painting. So I've got to change that. Now I know what I'd look like with brown eyes. All right, let's throw a little blue over the top of that. Let me get some, normally I do a lot of mixes. And it's not because I'm painting a portrait that I'm going into straight tube colors. I don't know about you guys, but it really depends on the mood. And so if I'm in a certain contemplative place, I'm going to be a little more methodical. But I'm in woohoo mode today, so that's how we're painting. All right, so let's see, where is it? It's dark right up at the top here. A little blue over there. And yeah, that's you know, my eyes aren't that blue, but that's okay. I like them. I like the way they're coming out. All right, I'll add a little bit of light in here. I'm going to need a smaller brush for that. I'm going into, the whites of your eyes aren't white, so I'm going to do this little pinkish tone. And blend that with this other side here. And I'll have to reinstate some areas that are lost when I'm blending. Let's put some pupils back in. I'm just going for some straight purple because it's dark and I don't feel like mixing. And it will work. Okay, is that getting closer? I don't know. I have to step back from my work. I think the pupils look a little too small. There we go. Overstating and then blending. Okay, how about this side? I'll put some highlights over the top a little bit later. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm standing right in front of my painting so I can't see what I'm doing. Okay. It's starting to look happier. I'm going to add a few eyelashes up here. I'm going to mix some of this violet and make like a black mascara-y color. Mix the Carbazole violet with a little bit of the, actually there was quinacridone violet as well. There, a little bit of eyelashes here. Some on that side. And maybe just a little bit underneath, but it's tempting to, one of the things that's really tempting to do is just kind of outline this. And it looks terrible if you do that. So I'm going to get a lighter tone and go underneath. needs to be a little darker than that. And a little darker on this side too. Add a few eyebrows. How are we going to make those? A little bit of red. Again with this carbazole violet and a little bit of green. Eyebrows really change the shape of change your look, so it's important to get those pretty close. Of course, I don't think they're usually this red, but we're going wild with the color today. All right, where do I see some dark? Right under there, under their nose. I think I need to throw in some lip color too, because this is bugging me. All right, corner of the mouth is a little bit darker. Going right over the top of this brown. Gonna add a little bright red in the middle. Do you like my red lipstick? And I gotta blend that with a little lighter tone. Okay, so that's starting to take some shape. Okay, again, got to step back and look at it and see where we are. How's it going? Okay, it's starting to take some shape. It looks like it's getting closer to me. What do I want to work on? Before I start picking apart the face, I'm definitely going to work on the hair first and then come back. And that way I'll know where to go. All right. So what do I want to do with this dark part of the hair? A little bit of yellow ochre. I'm going to add some violet to tone it down. Why? Because it's opposite on the color wheel. That might be a little too much, because I don't really want purple hair. There. I don't think I made enough. We shall see. All right, what kind of brush do I want? This one, because it's kind of scruffy and left to its own devices, my hair is a little wild. So this'll work. I try to tone it down before I get to the set. But by the time I get here, it's all over the place. Darker. There we go. And this, around this side of the face, is going to help define the shape of my face, so that's important to get that pretty close too. And you know what? If you get it wrong, you just keep playing with it, keep adjusting until it goes where you want it to. Let's see. This needs to come in a little more. Yeah, that's better. I've tried to do self-portraits every couple years, maybe every year, but I've skipped the last couple. But it really, and you can do two. I like to do two at once, and each one comes out totally different. And so sometimes they can still look like you, and each retain their own individual ness. I like that. Okay, so there's a little bit of dark under here. I'm liking that. Maybe I need to mix the lighter color. New brush, clean brush. I'm going straight for this cad yellow deep. That's going to be harmonious. Here we go. Needs warm though, it's a little pink. I'm going straight in here. Okay, I have to say that I ran out of this cad yellow deep. Didn't use the brand that I normally use. And I had this other brand on hand that was given to me as a sample. And it's like bad meatballs. I mean, bad meatballs. You know, they're all bread and they're no meat and they taste terrible. Well, that's totally how I feel about this. I won't buy this brand. I'm not going to say who it is, but I thought, well, it was a sample. I'll try it out. But no, it's all filler, not enough pigment, and it's not working for me. Can you tell I'm half Italian? Bad meatballs, when you get bad meatballs, it's not a happy thing. Oh man, my mom was teaching my dad how to make spaghetti sauce. And so she's teaching him how to make meatballs. And I could not believe the first one he drops in the pot. You know, like the pot is here. He drops it from right here. I mean, there was, you know, sauce everywhere. And that had to hurt. Had to just really hurt. What does that have to do with anything? Nothing. That's the kind of stuff that flies through your head when you're painting. Okay, I'm liking the transition. Even with this bad meatball paint, it's still working. I just had to use more of it. That's a lot softer. That's nice. Okay. We'll get this side done and see what the other side looks like. All right, that's quite a bit lighter over here. I don't want to have yellow hair. Let's see how this works. Well, I got yellow hair. Throw in a little more white and a little pink over the top. See if we can do a really good dye job here. Yeah. Still, it needed to be warmed up. And I accomplished that. And what's the deal here? That's not a good transition. We need to just... There we go. I'm going right over the top of my scalp. I don't want it to look like it's pasted on. Yeah, right over the top of this purple, because that was a little overboard. Could use a bigger brush, but I kind of like the strokes from a small brush. Bigger brush would be faster. I'm not in any hurry. Even though this is filmed live to tape, So when you're watching this show, whatever I get done in a certain amount of time is that all that you can possibly do, or all that I can possibly do. Okay, I'm lifting it up a little, gonna throw some down here. Gotta add a little bit of interest here, so I'm gonna grab, where is that? All right, here we go. Some of that mixture that I made. Not mixing too much on the palette today. I'm doing a lot of brush mixing on the canvas. Part of it has to do with the stage of the painting, and the other part has to do with my squirrely mood. You know, I remember when I moved into my house, the house I'm living in now. Before I moved there, I had this perfect detached. It was tiny, 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 but it was a detached studio, separate from the house. Loved it. And when we moved into this house, it was just a room in the house. And I remember somebody said, "Oh, aren't you going to miss that space?" And I said, "Oh, you should be able to paint anywhere." Well, you know what? Yeah, you can paint anywhere, but some places are more painter-friendly than others. Some places make you feel good, and that really does affect your output. So find the space wherever you can, where you are, that makes you happy, because it'll make it a lot easier. And if it's not feeling good, try another spot. All right. Got hair now. Got pretty over the top rosy cheeks. Let's see if we can straighten out my face a little bit. Whoops. Wipe my brush a little bit. Didn't mean to do that. Well, we will just clean it up. Where else? I see a little bit of light on the top lip. I'm going to add that right now. And a little bit on the bottom. And that's just very abrupt here, so I'm going to change that. A little bit of light right under here. These little adjustments really make a big difference. I'm going to go right over the top of this so it's not so glaring. Kind of blend that together. Make a nice mid-tone. I'm mixing it right on the palette. All right, so this light comes over here. I'm just looking at what these shapes do. Let's see, that's darker over there. I need to fill that in. And just get some separation here. This nose just about disappeared. I overdid. That's all right. I'll get another brush and just blend. Grab my paper towel. You know what? I need some paint there. There's nothing to blend. It needs to be lighter. There we go. I'm just scribbling. See, you don't have to be that careful. especially in these stages. There. Now I have something to blend with. Except this brush is having a little trouble today. This brush isn't good. We'll try this one. Why wasn't it good? It was too long and not stiff enough. So I soften that. I'm going to go right over the top of the lips so it doesn't look like they're pasted on. I think I need a little bit more light here under. If you don't have enough to grab to, there's not enough to, you can't blend because there's nothing to hold on to. All right, what's going on with this nose? We need to reinstate the darks. And I'm going to pull back long enough so that I can see what the painting's doing. When I'm on top of it and they're this big, I cannot tell. So I have to step back from my work. All right, that's starting to take some shape. I look a little funny there because there's, this is a good lesson in value contrast. If there's not enough contrast in the value here, I look like I just have this huge hole in my face. So I'll put the darks back in. It's just all a series of adjustments. All right, so we have a little dark right here. A little bit right here. In fact, this whole area is a little dark side of the nose. And there's a triangular shape here. And then I just need to find where this stops, kind of like right here. Right by the eye. That helps. Reinstating the dark under the eyes. It's really a series of just going back and forth and adjusting. So this is, let me just step back one more time. All right, so the nose still looks still looks a little wonky, but I'm going to clean that up a little. But this is a good block in for this stage of the painting. You're starting to get the shapes. We're going to tidy it up a little bit and move over to one that's a little bit further developed. All right, so bottom line is you just need to go back and reinstate the shapes and see where are we here. Well, it's darker hair. And let's see what the deal is with the nose. There's some darks that need to be put in. Right by the eye. And a little on this side too. And let's just define this nose a little bit. There's a really dark right under there. And right at this edge. And a little bit right in the corner of the eyes. There's going to be, it's a little darker there too. And I think this is just a little too pronounced over here, so I'm going to just lighten it up a little bit. Blend it so that it's not this sharp line. And I noticed, let's see, what am I missing here? My nose is big, but not quite that big. So I'm going to trim it down. I'm just looking to see what shapes do we have here. Well, I got these little kind of bags under my eyes, and they're a triangular shape. I'll paint those in. And I'm going to clean up that little, that's better. And I'll adjust this side of the nose. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes when you paint, when you're working on a painting, things just start growing. Things that shouldn't grow. Things you don't want bigger. And the more you try to make them smaller, the more they grow. Well, the cool thing about television is, and especially today, is that I happen to have another painting in another state of being. And I'm just going to switch over to it because it's not cooperating. No, actually, we have made progress here. You have seen this shrink. But it is fun to work on two at once, because then if you have problems in another, you just stop and work on the other one. And there are times when no matter what you do, you just have to stop painting that day and hit it another time. You know, no matter how long I've been painting, sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. All right, I'm going to let this go. Of course, I keep saying that, but I keep playing with it. One more little thing. All right, that's enough. That's enough damage for that one. All right, how can we kind of clean this up? Just to get it to a finished second statement. And that's all this is second statement. It's not, basically that's what it is, second time at the canvas. And so it's not a bad, it's not a bad representation, but it definitely has a long way to go. One of the reasons I'm laughing is I was at a shoot one time, and the makeup artist looked at me and he said, "Oh, she's got raccoons." And what he meant was that, you know, I had a few dark circles or whatever under my eyes. And so I'm looking at my painting and I'm thinking the same thing. I've got raccoons. So, but, you know, with paint, you can just paint them away. Isn't that nice? There we go. Anyway, this is a great, it really is a good second statement. It's complete. It says what I need it to say. And then I'll move on to the third statement, and we'll take it from there. So what would I do to this? Well, I'd reestablish, once it's dry, I'd reestablish the darks and the lights. Those got a little bit obliterated with some of the mixing I do. And I would go in with some of the fine detail. But you know, if you know you're having a day where things aren't working, maybe detail is not a good thing for you, and you could work on paintings that are just a little more open. So, you know, it worked out really well today that I brought two pieces in, because I'm having one of those days right on TV. All right, so here's this one. It's going bye-bye for now. Bye. All right, this is a totally different day. Totally different painting. This is more of a, oh, I would have to say it's more of a third, fourth statement. So I've been at that thing maybe 3 or 4 times for it to get to this stage. So now we're going to play with this one a little more and see what kind of life we can breathe into it. Kind of weird calling yourself an it, but I'm going to, you know, like we talked before, I'm going to reestablish some darks here. Now the coloring's totally different. I think one thing that would really make me pop is if I made this background a lot darker. So I think I'll do that. Now that one I'm going to leave red. That's going to be my little red painting. I think this one's going to be more of a neutral. So let's try some violet over the top of this blue. Ah, imagine that, it ended up red. Okay, there we go. That'll really kind of make this pop. Very dark. Slightly different drawing because I can't draw it the same twice. All right, let's see. I can make this a little grayer, a little darker too. So I'll add a little white to that. A little blue. That's good. I got that. No, I really don't want violet. I want more of a blue. I'm going back to the blue. I was in blue mode when I painted this. There we go. All right, I'm going to scribble this in. That's fairly neutral. Not totally neutral, but that's fine. Lighten this up just a little. What am I going to do with my shirt down here? I like that color, so I'm just going to accentuate that. I like this turquoise. Wow, how did I get all this red paint here? I gotta get it off before it's in places I don't want it. It just looks like ketchup and mustard. Okay. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just adding some darker darks where I'm restating the darks and the lights. And this just needs a little touch of light right in the center to make that go around. And I'm going to scribble that so it doesn't look like it's just kind of fades off. Okay, that's good. What else do I want to do here? My hair needs a little more contrast. So I'm going to add that. I did like that dark color. Let's see if that works. Right here. Whoops. I have a brush hair. You know what? If this is losing brushes, if this is losing hair now, it's not going to get any better, and it's going to be a pain in the rear. So it's got to die. Goodbye. Just, you know, if you try to work with it, the brush is just going to drive you nuts. So throw it out. Okay. The dark I had in the other painting isn't dark enough for hair. So it was close. There we go. All right, so I just need a little dark right here. See, the tendency would be to go straight to the face and start tweaking that, but really, I think for some instant contrast, it was really more about, immediately, it was more about the hair and some background issues. Challenges. Opportunities. I just want to thank you guys for finding me on Twitter and all the great comments. And if you haven't been on Twitter yet, just Twitter Shannon Grissom, and there I am. And it's great to see all your paintings and all the things that you're working on. And if you don't paint, it's just nice to check in. A little dark there. Yeah, it looks like it's a mess, but it'll be okay when I add a little light over the top. There. I think once I add the light, we'll be good to go on the hair. All right, I'm going to step back from that. And see where I am. Okay, that one's starting to take some shape. There's still quite a bit of work to do on the face. We're getting some of the planes in here. But I'm going to, if you can see, there are just lots of different color changes and plane changes. And I'm going to develop that further. But I like what we did as far as really punching up the hair, punching up the background. That made it come forward a lot. And I think one of the biggest things to think about, or one of the things that I want to get across to you today, is that not every day when you hit the canvas is going to be the perfect painting session. So go with your mood and just keep, just go as much, but don't try to force it. If, like I said, this other one wasn't working, so I tried playing with another canvas and, just experiment and see what does. But if you feel like you're rowing the boat upstream, well then jump in a different river. Try something else. All right, so what would I do here to start to tidy this thing up? Well, I would, same thing where we punched up the darks and lights values here. I would really darken this area up a little bit because that really is the dark side. This whole side of the face can be darker, but not too much. It's not a huge, I don't think I'd make it as dark as it is in the photo. There are things that look good in the photo that don't necessarily work in the painting. But just really punch up the value. And the rest of the painting session would be a real contemplative, very, how when you first start a painting, it's very energetic and you go like crazy. And then as you get toward the end of the painting, it slows down. So biggest thing I think when doing a self-portrait is, number one, it's a great way to check in with yourself. Be easy on yourself when things don't work, and give yourself a pat on the back when they do. If you guys want to talk to me about painting, Twitter me at Shannon Grissom. I'd be happy to talk to you. Thanks so much for watching Give Your Walls Some Soul. I'm Shannon Grissom.